Paleo 101. What is paleo? What are the benefits of it? And why are we talking about it on this channel? Because we talk about intuitive eating here. Welcome, I'm Sherry Traxler with Vireo Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life God's Way. Well, I was speaking at the Nourished Festival a few weeks ago, and I will put the link below for you. And they wanted me to speak on paleo. And I thought, how can I talk about paleo? Because I'm not someone who pushes diets. You know my background, you know that intuitive eating is what we talk about here. As I began to do the research, I realized this actually fits in with intuitive eating. And in a part 2 video for this, I'll talk about paleo versus intuitive eating. For now, though, let's discover what it is, what the benefits are, and get a sense of, is it right for you or not? Paleo became popular back in the 1970s and then had a resurgence in the early 2000s because of a book that came out. But really, when you look at what paleo is, it's how our ancestors ate. It's actually how our ancestors lived. The channel focus we have here is on science, so I'm not going to get into what all the different variations are because it can get confusing of, you know, one person says eat this, don't eat that. Another person says eat this, don't eat that. Well, that's part of the diet mentality, and we don't want that. When we are looking at it, we're going to look at it from a science perspective, and the National Institute of Health is where we go. What does the research say there about paleo? Number one, it is not low carb, high protein. When you look at the tribes around the world, as well as the data that we have from archaeology, we realize that, well, let me give you one example. Tanzania, a tribe that was researched. They eat honey, they eat all kinds of plants, they eat all kinds of root vegetables, and they eat some game. So fruits, vegetables, nuts, berries, all that stuff. There is another tribe, a Nordic tribe, completely different because of what's available. They don't eat a lot of plant. They eat mostly seafood and some game. What does that mean for you as far as what is paleo? Think about it in terms of what can you hunt and gather? What do you not have to depend on agriculture for? So that means nuts, berries, all kinds of root vegetables, and it actually includes even wild barley. In China and North America, there is good evidence that wild barley was a staple for our Paleolithic ancestors. So wild barley and wild rice. Rice is actually a grass, it's not a grain. And wild barley, do be aware if you have a gluten sensitivity that even though it's wild, it still has gluten in it. Dairy, not on a paleo plan because animals were not domesticated. One of the questions that comes up with all of the sometimes conflicting tips on paleo is, am I doing paleo right? Well, as you know here, how you eat is not a moral issue. Your body is going to tell you what to eat. An interesting stat on paleo is the amount of animal meat that is eaten. A lot of times there's this misconception that our ancestors ate a lot of meat. Well, if you live in a Nordic area, you do. But that's not everywhere in the world. So it depends on where you live, what you ate to survive. 3% of a paleo diet is what archaeologists and tribe research shows is average. So if you are thinking about doing paleo and you're considering lots of meat, that's probably not going to fit a paleo lifestyle for you. One of the big pieces to remember is paleo is not about only food, because just like us, we live a lifestyle that includes more than food. Our ancestors did too, and it was that whole lifestyle that gave them the benefits I'll be sharing with you. So the lifestyle includes, of course, physical activity. So if you're thinking, oh, it's all about, I'll just eliminate grains and then I'm going to be eating paleo. No. To live paleo, to have a paleo diet or lifestyle, get your movement in. Move throughout the day. I've got a video on getting steps in, and I'll link that for you. And some type of formal exercise is fine as well and encouraged. Making sure that you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you're managing your stress. Another big one is a sense of community. Making sure that you have a support system in family and friends and church and business and all the people who surround you to support your life, and all of the people that you are connected to that you support in their lives. That sense of community, that sense of connection and belonging is paramount in our health. So you can't just say, oh, if I eliminate dairy or if I eliminate grains, suddenly I'm going to be perfectly healthy. That's one aspect, if it's appropriate for you and your body, that's one aspect of a whole lifestyle. Now, what are the benefits? One of the benefits can be to decrease risk of diabetes, can decrease risk of cardiovascular disease. Related to that is a stabilization of blood sugar, if that's an issue. Also, two related pieces, it's anti-inflammatory, and it is great for your gut health, hence the bone broth going in the background. I decided to film this in the kitchen because, I've got my bone broth going, we're talking paleo, it all fits together. And because the gut and the brain are connected, there can be some increase in mental clarity if somebody chooses to eat a paleo diet or live a paleo lifestyle. I hope that this has given you a little bit of food for thought on paleo. I am going in the next video to tie this in to intuitive eating, because we don't want to start doing paleo and trigger that diet mentality. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe so that you can be the first to receive these videos. Click that notification bell so you know when I put them up, when part 2 comes up. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, find your path and fulfill your potential.